If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through endless pages of air compressors, watching YouTubers compare horsepower, tank size, and price, and you still feel like you might end up with a machine that either sits idle or quits on you the first time you need it, this review is here to cut through the noise. I've been in the market for a shop-ready compressor for the past month, reading forums, watching a handful of Hansen videos, and even chatting with a couple of local mechanics who swear by the two-stage design for heavy-duty work. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's see whether the N7-2475N7.5V lives up to the hype or if you're better off putting your money towards something else. First off, the big selling point of the N7 model is that it's a 7.5 horsepower, two-stage unit paired with an 80-gallon tank. In plain English, that means you have enough raw power to keep a tire inflator, a spray gun, and a couple of impact wrenches running at the same time without the motor grinding to a halt. For a small auto body shop that does paint jobs 3 days a week, that kind of continuous flow is a real time saver. You can start the compressor, let it build up to the set pressure, and then walk away while the motor throttles down and the tank holds enough air to finish a full paint pass without the motor spiking back up. That max power and flexibility claim isn't just marketing fluff, it shows up when you actually have to juggle multiple tools. The long lift badge on the spec sheet is worth unpacking. N7 uses a cast iron pump and a sealed bearing design that many users say holds up better than the stamped steel alternatives you see on the lower-end market. In practice, that translates to less vibration and a cooler running temperature, which means the motor doesn't overheat during a marathon sanding session. If you're the type who leaves a compressor running all day while you work on a restoration project, that durability factor can be the difference between a machine that needs a major overhaul after 6 months and one that keeps humming for years. One of the things that makes the N7 surprisingly easy to service is the layout of the oil ports and the accessibility of the intake filter. Unlike some compact units where you have to remove the entire pump housing to change oil, the N7 lets you pop a drain plug, refill, and snap the filter back on in a matter of minutes. That ease of maintenance is a hidden cost saver. You won't be paying a service tech $150 every year just to keep the compressor running smooth. The 2-year warranty that comes with the unit is another practical safety net. It's not a lifetime guarantee, but for a piece of equipment that sits on a concrete slab and sees daily use, 2 years of covered parts and labor is a solid fallback. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. A 7.5 horsepower motor isn't something you can plug into a standard 120V household outlet. You'll need a dedicated 240V line, which means either wiring a new circuit or hiring an electrician if your garage doesn't already have one. That upfront electrical cost can catch first-time buyers off guard. The unit also weighs close to 500 pounds, so while the cast iron construction is great for longevity, it also makes the compressor a permanent fixture rather than something you can wheel out to a job site. If you're looking for a portable air source for occasional tire inflations, this isn't the machine you want to lug around. Noise is another practical consideration. Two-stage compressors tend to be louder than single-stage units because the pump runs at a higher speed during the first stage. Users have reported that the N7 sits in the 8090 dB range when the motor is pulling full pressure. That's comparable to a busy street, which is fine if your shop has proper insulation or if you wear hearing protection, but it's something to think about if your workspace is attached to a living area. Adding a sound enclosure can bring the level down, but that's an extra expense you need to factor in. Who should walk away from this product? If you're a casual homeowner who only inflates a bike tire once a month or runs a nail gun a few times a year, the 80-gallon tank and 7.5 horsepower motor are overkill. You'd likely spend more on electricity and maintenance than you'd ever save in convenience. Also, renters who can't make permanent electrical upgrades should look elsewhere. The installation hassle can outweigh the performance benefits. On the flip side, the ideal buyer is someone who runs an active workshop, whether that's a fledgling auto body shop, a woodworking studio that uses pneumatic sanders, or a contractor who needs to keep a line of nail guns and impact wrenches humming throughout the day. The ability to keep a consistent 125 psi output without the motor cycling on and off reduces wear on both the compressor and the tools it feeds. In a setting where downtime equals lost revenue, that reliability is